Hello. Normally I would do what I watched and what I read as like two separate videos, but I'm feeling especially lazy this week and I don't want to edit two separate videos. So we're getting one combined. Also, this week was super fucking busy for me. I had midterms, Garfield. I had midterms, so yeah, it wasn't the best week or month. The first movie that I watched in September was Pearl, and I thought Pearl was fucking amazing. I love Mia Goth. She was like the best part of X for me. Also, there's a bunch of bags in the back because my cat likes to hide in them. Like we got a Sally's bag and a Build-A-Bear bag. He likes to sleep in them. Yeah. Anyways, so I watched Pearl, and Pearl was fucking amazing. I am really excited for the next Mia Goth, Maxine, Pearl movie. I'm just excited. I think the way that they kind of made it like all... Okay, so my favorite things about X were the parts of it that were like noticeably 70s inspired. So I thought it was really cool that they, with Pearl, it was very like old-timey, like at times it made me think of The Wizard of Oz, just the way that she kind of like the transatlantic, isn't that what it's called, accent, and like, is she just, the first, like, before she starts killing things, reminded me of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, which, like, I love The Wizard of Oz, so, like, I thought it was great. I loved every bit about it. Next, I watched, 31, which is a Rob Zombie movie, and I watched it because somebody from work told me to. It was probably my least favorite of the Rob Zombie movies that I watched. I went on a journey. I didn't rewatch the Halloween movies because I didn't really feel a need to. It's kind of like, a bunch of people called it Saw. And if it is any of the Saw films, it's definitely the second one. But I don't know if I would really say that it's a Saw film. Yeah. I don't really have any concrete thoughts about it. I mean, like, it was definitely a movie. Did I like it? No. Did I hate it? Not really. It was just kind of like me. Anyways, I watched Lords of Salem, and I actually liked this one. This one was probably of like, other than like House of a Thousand Corpses, this is probably Rob Zombie's best movie, in my personal opinion. I really liked it. I think that Sheri Moon Zombie did a really good job playing a former addict going through withdrawals and stuff like that. Like, she did a really good job. And I rewatched House of a Thousand Corpses because Halloween, and it was honestly better the second time. The first time that I watched it was last year, and at the time it was my first Rob Zombie movie, you know what I mean? I had a big appreciation for it last year when I watched it, but I had even more of an appreciation for it now that when I watched it. And I think one of the big reasons is that, like, I don't really watch, like, torture porn, shock horror anymore. I don't really watch that. But I did, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain parts of House of a Thousand Corpses where you're like, oh shit, that's really fucked up. That's really gory. Those special effects are really cool. Like, the big one that stands out to me is Dwight as the fish man. That just looked fucking sick. And then I watched The Devil's Rejects. I haven't seen Through From Hell yet. That is my list for October. I didn't get around to it. But I watched The Devil's Rejects. My cat's attacking my toe. Hold on. Captain Spaulding. Okay, so The Devil's Rejects just made me like Captain Spaulding even more. Ooh, there's a big spider in the window. And I loved Captain Spaulding in House of a Thousand Corpses. I just think he's goofy. You know what I mean? He kind of like, he reminds me of like your weird uncle. Not my weird uncle, just like a weird uncle. You know what I mean? I feel like that guy, if he wasn't a serial killer, I would be his friend. You know what I mean? Anyways, I watched Anastasia, which is a Disney movie. Thanks, Garfield. No, it's not. It's not a Disney movie. it was bought by Disney recently. When I was a kid, I always thought it was a Disney movie, and it would always piss me off because Anastasia wasn't with the Disney princesses, and I was like, why the fuck? But yeah, Anastasia is like my favorite of the cartoon princesses. I think she's so fucking cool. The reason I watched it was because Journey to the Past, I work at Spencer's, Journey to the Past, Aaliyah's cover of it came on at work. And I was like, holy fuck. I need to rewatch that movie. I bought it on Amazon. I bought it. Anyways, I watched Fall 2022, which was like pleasantly surprising. I had a good time. 47 Meters Down, Uncaged, is so much better than the original 47 Meters Down. And it's like they took the things that I liked about 47 Meters Down and then merged them with the things that I liked from 47 Meters Down, Uncaged. I liked it. I had like my ass clenched the whole time. If you have any movies that are similar to that, please let me know because I want to go down a rabbit hole. And then I watched Backcountry, which I had heard the story, like the true story about the dude who fought the bear before watching the movie. Only in Googling the movie did I realize that it was based on that story. Because I was like, based on a true story. And then I Googled it and I was like, this is nothing like this movie. Anyways, brutal. It was hard for me. My boyfriend's named Alex, and the boyfriend in the movie's name is Alex, and he's not very nice when he gets eaten by a bear. But even though he's not very nice, like, you still feel really bad for him. I don't know. It was so, when you watch a movie and the protagonists are just so unlikable that you don't even really care, and then things happen, and you're like, ew, that was gross. That sucks. But like at the same time, like I don't really give a fuck. It was one of those situations. Next, we are moving on to books. I opened up my Goodreads. The majority of the books in here were books that I read for class. I'm gonna start with the books that I read for fun, and then we're gonna go into the books that I read for class. So the books that I read for fun were The Slob by Erin Burgard. It was pretty gross. It probably wasn't. I still feel like The Slob was really gross. I would put it at the same level as like Exquisite Corpse by Poppy Zebright. So, you know, like, go forth with caution. Door-to-door sales lady gets put in a bad situation. Yeah. Next we have Dirty Heads. Oh, and the ending was fucking stupid. The ending of The Slob was fucking stupid. I hated it. He's scratching his claws on the rainbow. Next, I read Dirty Heads by Erin Dries. Another like Amazon Prime like free book. It was good. I don't really have any. So it was just kind of one of those like edgy books that like you read and you're like, okay. I did think it was interesting that correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though gayness, using monsters as a metaphor for gayness and like being closeted is very interesting to me, and I think that the book did that and they pulled it off quite well. There's a lot of like, a lot of shit happens. Next I read The Seas by Samantha Hunt. Basically, I went through this thing where I wanted to find like books about women in weird situations. That's what like the theme of like a lot of the books that I read this month. So The Seas is about a girl whose dad dies, and before her dad dies, he tells her that she's a mermaid. And then he dies, and they don't know if he's crazy or if like he's, you know what I mean? Anyway, she gets with this guy who's like a lot older than her, and it's just kind of like, it's like about like the expectations of parents and like how they impact us and like what they do to us and how we feel about ourselves because of them. Next I read My Sister the Serial Killer. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the author, but I read it. Actually, probably one of the best books that I read this month. Very interesting. I feel like in a lot of like good for her style books, you get the perspective of the serial killer. You get, you know, a certain hunger, you get boy parts, all that stuff. My sister, the serial killer, like she's a nurse. Her sister's nuts. And she has to deal with everything that goes on because her sister's nuts. And it's very interesting, like if you think about like older sibling, older sister, younger sister dynamics, this book really plays into that a lot. Also what is kind of like to be like the black sheep of your family. Okay, so next I read Chaucer's Dream Visions. I read that for school. I'm not loving my Chaucer class. Next for my Shakespeare class, I read Henry V. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. I've found over the years that I don't like Shakespeare's like histories. I find them to be incredibly boring. But we did read Twelfth Night, and I thought that that was really funny. I liked Twelfth Night. And then we read The Merchant of Venice, and I felt wrong reading it. I don't feel like it's this big discussion in my class whether or not it's supposed to be anti-Semitic. But I feel like it is, and I'm not Jewish. So like I can't really like, it just like I'm reading it and I'm like, this feels bigoted. Which really sucks because we started reading it right after 12th Night. So I was like, oh my god, like lesbians. How cool. And then Shakespeare was like, just fucking disappointed me. We're still reading Macbeth. We're reading Macbeth right now. And then we're reading The Tempest. And that's all that I have left for my Shakespeare class. Yeah. I'm currently reading Cows in the Deep. Didn't finish them this month though, so I'm not counting them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was like my media wrap up. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. Hope you have a good day. Here's Garfield. Hope you have a good day. He's biting me. Yeah. I hope you have a good day, and goodbye.